Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to the rebirth of the Huddle Sports Podcast. I am one of your hosts, the boss man, the runner of this show, as well as the Pinball Productions. I am here with the two greatest guys in the podcasting world, Mr. Beaux Jax, Brandon Randall.
Pow. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Huddle. I'm so excited to be here. Finally get to talk some football.
We are also joined by my buddy. This is a reincarnation of our old show, the XFL Huddle Podcast. This show will cover the NFL as well as the XFL and maybe some other sports here down along the road. This is The Chosen, if you will.
If you will, ladies and gentlemen. The chosen one right here, William Morgan. Glad to be here. We're going to do this thing tonight, fellas.
All right, guys. So just to give a forewarning to all our viewers out there, this is going to be a consolidated show. We are all having internet issues. I am actually still at work. Mr. Brandon Randall is having internet issues. Mr. Morgan just got home. So this is just going to be a quick show recapping the first week, and next week will be our first full-length live show with all of us in your faces and in your e-holes.
Can't nothing go according to plan. Thank you, my cable provider. You know who you are. I'm coming to get you, you son of a
biscuit.
Bitch! So I tell you, this week we start off with the biggest story coming out of the first week. Mr. Randall, I think you have some comments to say about Tom Brady's intro into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Considering my two co-hosts right here are Saints fans, they're happy about this.
I am very happy about this, but there's a little bit of tea coming out of Tampa, and let's call it tough love. So, as you all know, the Saints walked all over Tampa Bay, but this is the story coming straight from the horse's mouth. Tom Brady is going to continue to face new changes as he's the new quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A new team, a new fan base, also means a new role and accountability. The Bucs head coach Bruce Arians done something very rare. In a post-game press conference, he actually called out Tom Brady for their 23-34 loss against the New Orleans Saints this past Sunday. Coach Arians was very specific in pointing out that the two interceptions by Brady during the game had nothing to do with the wide receivers misreading their routes. Pointing out that wide receiver Mike Evans done exactly what he was supposed to do during the coverage given by the Saints defense. An exact quote by Coach Arians. One was a miscommunication between Brady and Mike. He thought Mike was going down the middle. It was a different coverage. Mike read it right. He should have been across his face, but Tom overthrew it. The other one was a screen pass with an outlet call. He threw the outlet, and it was a pick six. Bad decisions. These comments may seem a little bit simple and just small descriptions of what took place in the game, but make no mistake, both picks were blamed on Brady. This is a very new thing we're seeing revolving around Brady, as publicly being held accountable for his mistakes, something we've never seen. In fact, it's gone on record that Brady's old coach, Bill Belichick of the New England Patriots, never once publicly blamed Brady for anything while he was the quarterback over there. Instead, he would make comments to the press when asked like, we need to look at the tape, or that's something we'll need to talk about. So guys, with all this being pointed out, do you think this may be a problem or an issue for Brady, and will it affect the rest of his career as a Buck? Also, is publicly pointing out Brady's mistakes a good thing considering his past status as a franchise-winning quarterback and a possible NFL Hall of Famer?
Mr. Morgan, I'm going to let you take this one first. Because my Brady hatred going to come out in this one.
I think it's a wonderful thing, and I think it's something that you have to do, because if you don't do this, he'll eat up any preferential treatment you give him in that locker room. You have to hold him accountable just as any other player. Even though he's the first man, you have to hold him accountable as you would the last man. I just think it's fantastic that what BA is doing. Both those picks were his fault. But I also want to say this too. That play call on that pick 6 by Janoris Jenkins, the play call itself was stupid, because with Brady, unless you're throwing down the field to Godwin, Evans, unless you're going straight down the field, anything on any other play, he's basically no good to you. He has to push the ball down the field. He has to. And he doesn't have the arm strength to go from one side of the hash mark to the other side of the hash mark. And you also put up against Jackrabbit or Janoris Jenkins. And unless you do a double move on him, anything that comes in his way, it's going to be a potential for a pick 6. So you have to hold him accountable for everything Tom Brady does. You also have to make sure you use him correctly. So I blame a little bit on B.A. Bruce Arians, but primarily I blame Brady. And it's good that they hold him accountable for it.
Do you think this is do you think possible that it may tarnish his quote-unquote status as a franchise quarterback?
The only way he's tarnished if he has a terrible year in Tampa. If he has a terrible terrible year in Tampa where he doesn't meet expectations, which is Super Bowl or bust for the most part. Realistically, to me, that may be a first, second round playoff team, but a lot of people deem him the GOAT, and there's no less than a Super Bowl for him. If he doesn't meet that Super Bowl, then it possibly could tarnish his career a little bit.
Josh, what's your thoughts?
All right, so I'm going to come out and say this right now. I have never, ever been a Brady fan, but one of my biggest issues with Brady was that the fact in New England, he never, ever got the blame put on him. When I'm sorry, some of those playoff losses, the losses to Eli, the loss in the Super Bowl, their most recent loss in the Super Bowl, all of those fell on Brady. That is Brady's team. I never met a coach more like Bill Belichick. Most coaches, the quarterback is the first one who catches the blame. He is the leader. He should. Arians did the right thing. Brady deserved to get the blame for that loss. He messed up those plays. Yes, Brady has an arm, but Will was right. He doesn't have the arm to throw diagonally across the field. He can throw down the field, straight down the field, but to throw across his body down the field, that's never been something Brady's good at. Truly, if I'm the other teams, need to be exploiting that, because it's one of the only things Brady's ever been weak on is if you can get Brady out of the pocket, make him scramble to the far side and make him throw diagonally across the field, he's more likely to throw an interception than any other pass he throws. I love Bruce Arians. I think he's an amazing coach. As much as I hate the Colts because they're in my division, he did a great thing for the Colts a few years ago, showed that he could be a great coach. I don't necessarily think Tampa is a Super Bowl team. I know everybody thinks, oh, Brady's on this team, it's Super Bowl or bust. But one thing we saw yesterday is there was a reason Gronk didn't play. Like, I don't know if it was some rust from not playing last season or what, but Gronk looked terrible yesterday. He looked terrible. Or I'm sorry, Sunday. He looked terrible. He did not look like he had been keeping in shape. He couldn't get down the field like he used to. I'm sorry. I don't know if it was just some rust from not playing for a whole season or what, but that team that I saw, and I only watched clips. I didn't get to watch any of the games, but the team I saw is not a Super Bowl caliber team. They're a second round playoff team, but they're not a Super Bowl caliber team. Now, I will give Brady this. If there's any QB who can turn it around and take this team to the Super Bowl, it's him. I may not like the man. I think he's a cheater. I think he's done some questionable things, but I can't knock that the man is talented. And you said possible Hall of Famer. Unfortunately, as much as it pains me to say it, he is definitely a Hall of Famer.
I think another thing too about Tampa Bay, and how you face them, their offensive line isn't very good.
No,
It's not very good. So when you go up against Brady, he's gonna get everything out quick, and that's what
Mr. Crippler with the Moosin.
But Brady's gonna get everything out quick, faster, in a hurry, and that's another thing about them too. And then that secondary sort of kind of suspect. The person I was impressed with more than anything on Sunday was OJ Howard. He looked very, very good out there. I was very impressed with OJ Howard, being the young gun, so to speak. But yeah, they need to turn around fast. In that division, can't take the Falcons for granted, can't take the Panthers for granted. So you better turn it around and turn it around quick.
Well, that actually leads me to my next question. Granted, Brady will go down in history as one of the greats. But in this move to Tampa, how much is playing in a different, and let's just be honest, a harder division going to affect him? And are we going to see more of this tough love because of his new tougher division?
Yep, I think so. Because you can say that right now, both Atlanta, even though they got trumped, Carolina, they played well. You can say both of those teams are better than what Miami gives you. You can easily say that. And I just think that if he doesn't correct the issues, if he doesn't get in sync with that offense, learn that playbook frontwards and backwards, Tampa's going to be in for a long season. The running game wasn't that good on Sunday. That's another thing that bothers me too. You got learned from that. I'm shocked you didn't see him run the football more. You got Ronald Jones, who was more than capable. Those boys didn't do anything. The offensive line didn't play well. You saw Brady get hurried if he didn't get sacked. I just think that they need to circle the wagons and get everything together. Because if they don't, if they go 0-2, 0-3, and that in a division like that, that hurts because it's a competitive division.
Very competitive. And I'm not tooting the horn because I am a Saints fan, and you are too. Mm-hmm. But I will say one positive thing about the New Orleans Saints. Their defense, I am so impressed with. They not just because they shut down Brady, but because they were able to do what they did, and they stood out. They just stood out to me. So that's enough tough love from Tampa. I don't know if you guys checked out the power rankings, but I have the top 10 teams.
Hang on real quick, Mr. Randall. I just wanted to bring up one thing real quick before we move on top 10 thing. I wanted to get y'all's opinion on who y'all think player of the week is. I have my opinion in talking to some people, Will being one of it. I nominate Alvin Kamara.
Okay, you got Alvin Kamara. I have to give a huge shout out to my man, Joe Burrow.
Yes.
Joe Burrow, guys, I don't know if watched, and Josh, you already said you didn't, but Will, if you caught any, like a piece of that Bengals game, there is a different atmosphere going on in Cincinnati right now. Yeah. Joe Burrow has took command of that team, and it is like it's night and day. It's night and day. And I am so excited to see what my former LSU buddy has in store. I am Joe Burrow all the way. That's my player of the week.
My guy is Aaron Rodgers. You heard all season long he was talking about he was rejuvenating himself, having fun again. And when you take that mindset to that place where you can take an approach to the game and just have fun with it, you get what you get yesterday. That man was on point. He was on, and him and Devontae Adams. If Devontae can stay healthy, and Aaron stays healthy too, the Packers can be a problem. The Packers can be a problem.
Absolutely.
They can very well be a problem. Their defense is playing a little bit better. They still need another receiver, but outside of that, with Aaron playing so well, their first round draft pick, Jordan Love, trade him, get him some help.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I just wanted to ask that question just because I agree with all those. I was really impressed with Rodgers. We're going to get into fantasy here in a minute, but if you looked at fantasy drafts, that man was going in like round 7, 8, 9 for a man who was going first round, first pick just a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I wondered though, because we all know when you doubt those players like Rodgers and Brady, and I'd put Big Ben in there and Brett Favre. When you start to doubt those players and say, are they done? Is it time for them to retire? Usually they give you one more or two more really good seasons.
Yep.
And I think you're going to see that. I wondered if you were going to see that from Rodgers this year, because there was a lot of people doubting him, saying, is he going to get the start against Love? He did get the start against Love. And I think Rodgers knows, too, that if he doesn't produce, Love will get his spot. So he's got to produce this season. And this is the first time that Rodgers really been put in that like, I've got a backup behind me that could easily take my position. So he needs to come out and have one of his best seasons.
Exactly.
And I'm excited to see it.
Well said. Well said. That NFC as a whole is incredible, because when you look at it, the majority of those teams, you got your Saints, you got the Cardinals, even you got the Seahawks. You know, the 49ers lost, you know, they're going to bounce back. That whole NFC, with the exception of a very few, those teams are competitive.
Absolutely. We got a fan on the show, Mr. Dalton Stroud, says Jenkins for the pick 6, Brady off of Brady for player of the week. That was a great pick 6. It's great to see the Saints as fluent as they are this early in the season. I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
And keep in mind, Davenport didn't play on Sunday.
It's true.
He didn't play on Sunday, so that Saints defense is not at 100% as of yet. But the secondary, which was somewhat of a problem last year, it looks like Malcolm Jenkins is getting those boys together and ready to go.
Yeah, they definitely evolved as a defense and became more of a unit, and that's, as a Saints fan, that tickles me pink. Like, you won't believe, like, we've needed that for years, and now it looks like it may be happening. I wish I had some wood to freaking knock on, because I may have just jinxed this. But hey, there you go. Do it again for me, brother. But
we got the Las Vegas Raiders coming up. Say that 10 times fast.
I mean, I'm excited to see their new dome. Well, it ain't a dome, but you know what I mean.
That news. So my parents pulled into Vegas on their cross country road trip yesterday. My dad sent me a picture of the new stadium as they drove by it. Oh my God. That thing is one of the craziest football stadiums I have ever freaking seen. That black thing on the front could be used as a giant fucking TV screen so they can show the games to people outside.
Wow.
And
you don't see that very often.
Nope.
No, that's a new thing that stadiums are doing, so they can start doing standing room outside in like a all-day game tailgate. So you pay less for the ticket, You still get the tailgate with all the fans going into the game, but then you stand out and just watch the game with 1,000 different fans. It was one thing that the NFL was really excited about this year before COVID, is to do that in a few of the stadiums. I know Houston has been doing that for a few years. They put a big old inflatable screen out, and for the fans who just wanted to come tailgate but not go into the stadium, they stand out there, and you're able to go tailgate for $60 as a tailgate pass and then watch the game.
That actually sounds like more fun.
It does.
I know a lot of people who would just do that. And also, I'm a Texans fan. We're not good about much, but we are the top tailgating team in the league, like every year. And I've been to some Texans tailgates. They are freaking insane. The stuff, like people pulling out full briskets and sausage and chicken and like just amazing foods.
And there's also a little breaking news before we move forward with the top 10. Michael Thomas, New Orleans Saints wide receiver, looks to be out several weeks with a high ankle sprain. So you might want to look at getting Alvin Kamara. You might want to look at getting Jared Cook, more Emmanuel Sanders. Let's see what they do on the other side of that receiving core. They got some talented guys in that receiving room. Let's see what they do.
I actually meant to get an injury report, and so we will do that next week. Like we said in the beginning, guys, this is just an improv show. We unfortunately we've all got some technical difficulty going on, and we will be better prepared next week. Please tune in then. But it's now time to move on to the top 10 in the power rankings. Guys, I know y'all got some things to say about this, and who wouldn't? So we're going to go over the top 10. I'll start at number 10 and work to the top. Does that sound good?
Yep.
That sounds good.
So we'll start at number 10, New England Patriots. Thoughts, feels on that?
It's funny. It's hilarious to me to see the team. I'm surprised first week that they're top 10, but I mean, I don't think they really deserved it because they beat Miami. If you didn't beat Miami, like if Miami had won, would they have been top 10?
That's a good point.
Probably not.
Probably not. That's a good point.
So I think that's still some residual of the past Patriots. People have got to understand, yes, you still have Belichick, but without Brady, he's not the same. Belichick was never known for his offense. He's a defensive guy. That's how he has done so well in this league. He is probably up there with Gary Kubiak as far as the defensive mind that he has, as far as comparing to someone who has an offensive mind in Kubiak. But it's not the same team. I'd be surprised. I would not be surprised to see the Patriots go like 7-9, 8-9, 8-10, maybe even 8-8. I could see an 8-8 season for the Patriots. I just don't know who they have.
You're giving them way more than I would, to be honest.
Well, the thing with the Patriots to me, you're seeing the magic of Josh McDaniels. I don't know if you guys remember a player by the name of Tim Tebow. He made Tim Tebow a success. He can do some of the same, if not all the same stuff with Cam Newton. So what you're doing now, you're making them a throwing team. What you're doing with the Patriots is making them a running team. So what you'll probably see out of them, you'll probably see some design runs with Cam, some passes, some safe passes here and there to get first downs. That offense is not going to be spectacular at all. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard running. You're going to see more Sonny Michel in the mix as he gets healthier. Damian Harris, I think, is still out. So you're going to see a lot different of an offense with the Patriots this year with Cam Newton. It worked yesterday, but I don't know if you can continue to run Cam out there 15 times. I don't know if we can continue to do that because you're like knocking on the devil's doorstep. One hit is all it takes. And I don't know if you want to continue to do that with Cam.
You definitely don't. But we're going to move on to number 9, which kind of shocked me as a number 9 team. But the San Francisco 49ers.
And a loss, no less.
In a loss.
In a loss. Let little Kyler Murray run all over him.
I see Josh is a little bit busy. So we'll just go on down the list. Number 8, Arizona Cardinals. You have any on that?
No problem there. Arizona played well. Let those boys get a tight end. Woo. But as it stands right now, Murray's playing well. Hopkins is playing well. And give the coaching staff credit there. I know we've given them some criticism on what they're doing. But look at how they're positioning DeAndre Hopkins. He's just getting there, but you're making him your focal point, and you should because he's arguably the best receiver in football. Kyler Murray is killing it. He did a very good job against a very good defense. And he's always played the 49ers tough. This time they finally got a win. So got no problem with Arizona being where they are. And if they ever get themselves a tight end, maybe shore up the secondary a little bit, woo, they can be dangerous, man.
They could be. Number 7, the Tennessee Titans.
Look, judging by what we saw last night, they need to hold some kick auditions. Now, I looked it up earlier. He's the kicker for the Titans is on a guaranteed contract, so whether they keep him or cut him, they gotta pay him. So, but still, I think it's time for kicker auditions. That was just ridiculous.
Very ridiculous.
I also would like to see Tennessee air it out just a little bit more to keep that front seven honest against Derrick Henry. But yeah,
absolutely,
they deserve to be in the top 10.
Number 6, and I know you're going to have something to say about this one. The Seattle Seahawks.
Robbery. Go back and watch that game on Sunday. That was the best transitional football I have ever seen, and I've seen a lot of football in my day. They were dominant on both the offensive side of the football as well as the defensive side of the football. Matt Ryan, over 400 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and they still lose the football game. That's unheard of. I believe, if memory serves, I believe Julio and Ridley was over 100-yard receiving both, and they still lost the game. So they should be higher on this list. I'll put them above Buffalo. I would put, but that's just ridiculous to where they are. They should be a lot higher, in the top 5 at least.
I have to agree. They brought the heat, and they have the numbers to prove it. Number 5, we actually touched on their quarterback, the Green Bay Packers.
Now, Seattle should be in that spot. This spot, and I'm not taking anything away from the game that Aaron Rodgers played, but they still gave up 34 points in that game, I believe. I think it was 42-34, the final score.
Something like that, yeah.
That defense still gave up a lot of points. They weren't as dominant as Seattle was in their victory. I think Seattle, if you flip-flop Green Bay and Seattle, I think we'll be okay. But I think that's what we need to do, a flip-flop, because, again, Sunday was the best I have ever seen transitional football be played out of the Seattle Seahawks.
Couldn't agree more. Number 4. And see, I feel like Seattle should be actually maybe around this spot. But number 4, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I do want to say about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not a fan of James Conner. I think Benny Snell takes that running back spot from him. He came in last season hurt, coming into this season getting another injury. I think Benny Snell's going to take that spot. Juju looked good last night. That defense flies, man. TJ Watt's no joke. Mika Fitzpatrick is no joke. That defense is awesome and legit. I think they should be where they are, a little bit above Seattle. But again, you got Big Ben back, and with Big Ben being back, that's a huge difference for the Steelers. Huge difference.
For sure. Josh, do you have any comments on that?
I say Big Ben being back is. He's one of those guys that I do feel like his career is coming to an end. He just doesn't. He's not a Rodgers. He's not a Brady. I know he's always been related to those guys because he is in that class, and I would say that the man is right on the cusp of being an elite level quarterback, being able to be listed in that, but he's not quite that. The big thing Big Ben always had is he was big. He could take a hit and still get back up. But in the last couple of years, he's kind of lost that durability. He's more injury prone. You never know if he takes a big hit, if he's going to get back up. I saw some clips. I think they're right where they should be this week. We'll see how they continue to do this season. I don't know if the Steelers are playoff bound. I would say no, but you're right, though. They've got some deep weapons on defense. Oof. The Watt brothers are untouchable, man. I mean, and then Juju is a fucking beast. So, I mean, they could prove me wrong. I'm just not sure if Big Ben is ready. I think Big Ben, he is one guy I think should retire and hang it up.
I think the only thing that might stop the Steelers from going big places is the fact they're in the same division as Baltimore. And Baltimore as a team is a little bit better than the Steelers.
Absolutely. But now, guys, we have moved into the top three. Number 3, the New Orleans Saints.
Hang on, gotta call this comment up by Dalton. Big Ben now is like Romo, too prone to injury. I would say that's a great comparison. Because I always felt that Romo could have been an elite level quarterback. Part of what hurt Romo was his team. But if he'd have been on a better team, he could have been top level. So yeah, I'll agree with that. What's with the pinky?
The thing that hurt Romo was his pinkies. How many times did he break that pinky?
That and the butt fumble.
Yeah,
my God, yes. But number 3 in the power rankings is the New Orleans Saints. What's your thoughts on that, Will? I know me and you can be a little bit biased, but Josh, what do you think about it?
First, let me get in mind here. I think this is truly New Orleans could have easily been number 1 this week. I mean, they beat the team that everybody is picking to be Super Bowl champs. Y'all came out and beat them. So the fact that they're not number 1, I think, is a little bit of a robbery. Now I know who number 1 and number 2 are. I understand it, but New Orleans had a great game. Everything looked good. Breeze looked good. Yeah, I already picked Alvin Kamara as my number 1 guy from this week. He had a great game. One of Saints Jenkins pick six off of Brady was amazing. I think they totally deserve this ranking. Probably deserve to be a little bit better, and that's coming from a Texans fan.
My only issue, why I say they should be where they are. If you go back and look at Drew's game, he only threw for 160 yards on Sunday. It was a surgical strike, to be sure, with Kamara and Jared Cook. And when you look at the day Emmanuel Sanders had, so I think they're about right, given who number 2 is.
Fair enough. Number 2 being the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know. I would. As bad as it pains me, I think the Saints should still be number 3. But number 2 is your Baltimore Ravens. We'll let you take the reins on this one.
Well, you look at that team, and Lamar has become just an amazing quarterback. He's not just doing it with his legs; he's also doing it with his arms and in his head. He's seeing his progressions. He's seeing his read. He's throwing in tight windows. He's getting the ball where it needs to be directionally to hit those windows. Something you didn't see from him not too long ago. So he has matured as a quarterback. He's still learning. And I look, he's young, he's fast, not the biggest guy in the world, but he's young, fast, getting better as a QB. Between him, Mahomes, and Kyler Murray, this game is set for years at that spot.
Absolutely. Excuse me, Josh.
I got some comments on that. Lamar Jackson I think is the first quarterback that you can truly say is a running and throwing quarterback. And he will be the guy. You already saw it last season. He will be the guy to change that position, because before then, you've had your Cam Newtons and your Deshaun Watsons and your running quarterbacks. But a quarterback usually breaks down to either he's a thrower who stays in the pocket, or he's a runner who gets out of the pocket, and when you push him out of the pocket, he's going to try and get you going.
Exactly.
Rarely do you see a guy like Lamar who can do both. I hated playing Lamar last season because, like I said, usually if you know the quarterback, you either push him out of the pocket and you're able to take him out, or you keep him in the pocket and you limit him. You can't do that with Lamar, because you push him out of the pocket, then he's scrambling, and he's probably going to get 20, 25 yards. You keep him in the pocket, then he bombs it down the field to one of his receivers, and he still gets the 20, 25 yards. I don't agree that Vic and Young were that type of player. And Vic and Young never had the career that Lamar is gearing up for. If Lamar stays healthy, he could be a Brady level quarterback, possibly better, because he has more weapons in his arsenal. Like, I've said this for years, that if you can get that true blue 50% quarterback who is willing to throw when he has to throw, this is how I rate a running quarterback. A good running quarterback is the guy who he only runs if he absolutely needs to. It's one of the reasons I like Deshaun for Houston. Lamar is the same way. Lamar is always going to look for the throw first, then look for the run. It's one of the things I get upset with as far as Deshaun, because Deshaun will sometimes, he's getting better as he's gotten in the league but Deshaun will sometimes look for that run and go for the run when he had two receivers 30 yards out who would have gotten a better shot. Lamar, you never see him do that. He's always looking at his receivers first, and then if he has nothing, then he takes that shot. I think because of that, Lamar Jackson is going to be one of the best QBs for years to come, as long as he stays healthy. You can't consider Vince Young, who only played a couple of seasons, never really did anything big in the NFL, as one of those guys. And Mike Vick screwed up his own career. So,
and also too, go back and look at Mike Vick's day, his heyday. I'm a Saints fan, but I live in Georgia, so I got a good taste of Mike Vick and what he did down here. When you look primarily at his weapons, he had Algie Crumper and Brian Finneran. That's it. Later on down the line, he got work done. In there. But for the most part, he never had weapons like Lamar has.
When you look at Baltimore, they've got a great wide receiver core. They've got an amazing running back. They've got a second running back, basically, in Lamar. They've got an awesome defense. Their special teams is on fire. Like, Baltimore could have easily been Super Bowl champs last year. It was a fluke that they lost and didn't end up going. I definitely would pick Baltimore as Super Bowl potential this year.
Very, very good team. Very, very good.
Absolutely.
And well coached too.
Yes, that's the other thing too, is they've got a great coaching staff who can call. Don't get me started on coaching staffs because I will tear the Texans apart this week. Dude, how you gonna be down 14 points and call a halfback dive? How are you gonna be down 14 points and call a halfback dive?
That's your guys, and that's one of the reasons why they're not on the power rankings top 10. But we're down to our number one in the top 10 power rankings in the NFL. I can't really disagree with this one, but number one belongs to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Let me real quick make my comments on this, and I'm going to have to jump off here.
Okay.
Fuck the Chiefs, fuck Patrick Mahomes, and go Texans. I love y'all. Y'all have a good night. I'll see y'all tomorrow night.
Peace, man.